Hello, this is William Brister with SkySwitch University, and I want to show you in this video how to set up a simple ring group, or also known as a hunt group. Now I'm in this domain here, sample.15611.service, and I have set up these 4 users, user 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the first thing I want to point out is that the way we set up routing or certain capability in the system is that we create users. And down here at the bottom, you'll see this hide system users. What you'll find is that on our platform, even the system itself, when it wants to create functionality, it creates it through a user. So like a conference bridge or an auto attendant or a call queue, when those are created, the system creates a user, and that's how the system creates capability. So I'm going to hide these for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a user. I'm going to call it ring group. Now you can call it whatever you want. You could call it hunt group. You can have resellers that call them routing users or ring boxes or whatever. So we're going to set it on extension 299. You give it an extension just like you would any user. You have to give it an email address, but that's simply because it's a required field. Now I'm going to unselect enable voicemail, and I'm going to unselect add phone extension. Now one of the questions I usually get is, is this a chargeable user? But since I'm creating a user, to just set up a ring group. No, when you unselect this add phone extension, that takes it out of being a chargeable user. So you're not going to be charged for this user. Now you're also going to have to add in a password, again, simply because that's a required field when creating a user. All right, so we'll add user. So now we have a ring group here on extension 299. Now we want to go into this ring group and look at the answering rules. Now what you're going to find is that anytime you create a user, it's going to create this default answering rule. Now it has a time frame on it that is default, and it's always. You will not find this time frame on the time frames tab because the system just has a default time frame that is always. But really, this is the only time you really see it, is when you create a user and it creates this default answering rule. Now this default answering rule is simultaneously ring, the extension that we just created, and the all users' phones. Okay, but what we're going to do is, because typically what you want to do is set up a ring group, and you want to ring a group of extensions during business hours. So I went ahead and set up a time frame called business hours, and we'll cover how to set up time frames later, but you'll see that this in a different video, but you'll see that this is set up for Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So I have that time frame on my system. I'm going to go back into my ring group, and I'm going to go into the answering rules, and I'm going to add a rule and set it to business hours, and I'm going to simultaneously ring, include users extension, 111, add in the different fields that I need here, 112, 13, and 114. Now, what you'll notice here off to the side also is you have a ring delay that you can use. So what you'll find is that this ring delay goes up to 20 seconds. Now, the reason it goes up to 20 seconds is because our ring for time here on this user, this ring group user over here, is set to 20 seconds. If it was set to 60 seconds, then I would be able to go up to 60 seconds here. Now, what this would do is 111, 112, 113 would start ringing at the beginning of the call when the user calls in, and then 114 would start ringing, excuse me, let me set this to 10 seconds. It would start ringing after 10 seconds. Now, the other 3 would continue ringing, and 114 would start after 10 seconds. So it's not like a true round robin ring group. Now, if you want a more sophisticated ring group, I'll show you how to do that on a subsequent video, but we're going to need to use a call queue to do that. So this would just be a simple ring group, but the ring delay gives you a little bit of leeway on delaying phones on ringing. The other item you'll find here too is if I put in any of these fields an external number, and I can select answer confirmation for off-net numbers. This is an off-net number. It's not an extension. It's off the switch. It's going to require that if whoever answers that call to confirm that they want to receive the call. So it's just an answer confirmation for off-net numbers. So it just gives you, it really protects from getting a voicemail box that would then interrupt the ring group. Okay, so this is how you set up a simple ring group. I'll just set this to 0. And so they're just all ringing at once. So when a call comes in, it's going to ring all 4 extensions for 20 seconds. Now, if I want to, if no one answers, let's say this is a sales group and no one answers the phone. Maybe they're all busy. I can then, when unanswered, send the call to voicemail. I could send it to 111's voicemail, or I could send it to an auto attendant. I'd set up a company auto attendant on 300. I could send it to an external number at this point. So there's different things you can do, with the routing, and I hope you're seeing here that this is the way we're setting up routing within the system by using the functionality of the user and the answering rules of that user. So we'll leave that set that way. So during business hours, we're going to have simultaneously ring our sales department, those 4 phones, and then if no one answers, we're going to send it to the auto attendant that we set up. And then what we can do here is we can set our default rule to always go to the voicemail. So that would be after 5 o'clock, after hours. So this is going to be a pretty typical setup for any of your customers that just need a simple ring group setup. Now, once you get your ring group set up, then you'll need to point a number. So you'll go into inventory. If you don't have a number, pick one up out of managed DIDs, assign it into the domain, and then leave it available. And then you can set the treatment of it by clicking on the number, and we'll send it to that ring group. So in this case, what we're doing is we're directing calls on this number, maybe it's the company main number, into the ring group, and then it's following the answering rules of that ring group to then ring these other 4 phones. So that is a simple way of setting up a ring group, also known as a hunt group. I'll cover, like I said, a sophisticated way using a call queue if we do a round or a different, like I said, a more sophisticated type ring operation for a company. Thank you.